What's up, guys? It's Aaronitmar. So recently I have seen this trend on Twitter where people were putting into a tier list their rankings for all of the Smash character reveals from across, all of the different games, specifically Smash 4 and Ultimate, although Brawl is lumped in there a little bit. And I thought that would be a really cool video to make because a lot of them ended up posting their screenshots and then posting like 10 tweets explaining it. So I figured this might make more sense for me to do it in a video format so that I can actually give my reasoning and rationalization for why I put something somewhere. So that is what we're going to do in this video. So these are all going to be ranked based on a bit of a varying criteria. Some of them are going to be based on how much I liked the character. Some of them are going to be based on how much I liked the actual trailer. Some of them are going to be based on the real world circumstances of their reveal. It's going to be a bit, different, and it's gonna, vary. So it's not purely just on their reveal, but it's, everything that encompasses a new character coming to Smash. And so I just want to give you that little warning because, it does kind of vary a little bit. So I have every reveal here from Smash 4 and Ultimate, and then I included, of course, the two big ones from Brawl, which were Snake and Sonic. Brawl was weird because it didn't exactly have the kind of reveals that Smash 4 and Ultimate did. A lot of times their reveals would just be a blog post on a website, and so the Snake and Sonic ones, I think, were both the two big video ones and also just were the two biggest reveals for the game. So I figured if I'm going to include anything from Brawl, it's just going to be the two third-party reps. So let's actually start with them. I'm going to put Snake's reveal in A tier because it was pretty surprising and it is the first third-party character to be in a Smash title. But I'm only putting it in A tier because Sonic's is super, so not surprising, but just super impactful because Sonic being in the game was something that people wanted for so long. And I mean, there were rumors about it in Melee about how you could unlock Sonic. And Mario and Sonic always seem to be kind of rivals, but kind of friendly rivals, even as they are today. In the Mario and Sonic games, for example, they just always sort of seem to have that vibe. So it kind of made sense for Sonic to be in Smash. And so revealing Sonic to actually be in the game, I think, is probably the first S tier of, this whole list. It was a huge deal. And so that's why I think it belongs there. Snake was also a huge deal because he's the first third party, and the reveal itself was really cool, but it gets beat by Sonic a little bit. So I think I'm going to put Villager in the B tier because his reveal wasn't exactly specific to him. It started out with, that little cutscene of him getting the Smash invite and then him running out of the village to go join Smash. But this was also like the big reveal for Smash for Wii U and 3DS. So specifically for Villager, this wasn't exactly, only his reveal. Obviously, part of it ended up being Villagers in the game, by the way, but it was part of like the whole game's reveal. And so that's why I sort of put it down a little bit because it wasn't exactly tailored to Villager in the way that almost every other reveal was. Mega Man, on the other hand, was a huge deal. I'm almost torn between putting him in S tier or A tier. I kind of think he should be in S tier because the reveal was so good. I mean, seeing all those characters hear that, alarm, turn over their shoulder, and then they just see him menacingly staring over the mountain, and then he appears. And so not only was it a super epic trailer, but it was a character that, just like Sonic, a ton of people really, really wanted to be in the game, and it felt natural. There are some characters in Smash that they just feel natural. They just feel like they should have been in the game from the beginning, and Mega Man was definitely one of those. On top of that, include all of the different references to the different boss weapons that are shown off in the trailer and his final Smash. I think this was just one of the best, if not the best, reveal trailer for Smash 4. And so that's why I think it should go in S tier for sure. I think Wii Fit Trainer needs to go in A tier as well, just because of the confusion factor that played a role during this entire trailer, because I think so many people were so confused about the Wii Fit Trainer of all characters being added to the game. And that was the whole goal. Sakurai's whole goal of adding the Wii Fit Trainer was to simply confuse people. And so I think that definitely should be taken into account, and I think A tier is good, simply because I think that was, I just remember laughing so hard when I saw Wii Fit Trainer in the game. I thought it was hilarious. Rosalina and Luma I think also should be in A tier. I really liked the combination of all the Mario characters on Rainbow Road playing Mario Kart basically, and then Kirby, was in space and then fell down, and then the Luma appeared, and then all of a sudden Rosalina was just there. I think that's a really creative trailer, and I think that it does a good job of really hitting home the crossover aspect of Smash. I mean, you've got all these characters who are involved in Mario Kart, and then Rosalina, who kind of bridges the gap between, the space aspect of Kirby and the Mario aspect of Mario. And I don't know, I just think it was a really creative one. Plus, it just looked gorgeous. I'm gonna put Little Mac in A tier as well. I really loved his trailer, and I loved the style that they went with for this trailer. I loved, like, the 2D, really weird, like, grunge kind of art style, and then how it, like, translated into the actual gameplay part of the trailer, and how there was, a little bit of a part where Samus was like, he's really short, but it was still in the art style of the trailer. On top of that, the actual concept of the trailer itself was really cool. He's basically training up to go join Smash, and then he beats the crap out of Samus, and now he's here. And I think it was a big surprise for people, especially because of him being an assist trophy in Brawl. So definitely a really good trailer. So Charizard and Greninja are unique. This happens a couple of times in all of the reveals, but they were a double reveal in a single trailer, of course, because they are both the Pokemon reps and the quote-unquote new reps for Smash 4. So I'm going to rank each reveal as if it was its own trailer. They're all in one trailer, but I think you can tell that it's clear there is an arc where, okay, this half is the Charizard reveal, and then this half is the Greninja reveal. So I'm going to rank both of them. So Charizard's I'm definitely going to put in B tier. It was really cool. I really liked how all of the Pokemon came raining down out of their Pokeballs, and then you sort of pan up and you see Charizard. And I think a cool part of it is that the Pokemon trainer was the character that Charizard was a part of in Brawl. And so, of course, with all the Pokeballs raining down and then you see Charizard, you instantly think, oh, maybe Pokemon trainer. But then, of course, they reveal that it's only Charizard, and that definitely throws you for a loop. As far as the actual reveal, it is a little dull. He's just sort of standing there next to Pikachu, and then he roars, and then that's it. But the actual scene setting up is definitely what boosts this up a little bit so that it's not in the C or D tier for me. Ironically, even though I separated them, I think both Greninja and Charizard are going to be in B tier for me. I distinctly remember, and I know I'm not alone in this because I watched reaction videos after the fact, but I distinctly remember thinking at first that the Greninja reveal was actually a Mewtwo reveal, and I only thought that, I think, because at some level the charging up of the water or something that Greninja did just kind of gave me a Mewtwo vibe, and especially because that whole scene of Greninja was very dark, so it was definitely hard to make out what it was. In retrospect, that was kind of dumb of me to think that it was Mewtwo, but, hope reigns supreme, I guess, because I just thought it was Mewtwo. I thought, oh, Mewtwo's finally returning, and so that's just what made me think it was Greninja. As far as the actual reveal, it's not super crazy. It's about as exciting as Charizard's, I would say. So I really think that they relied on the actual setting of the scene rather than, the actual Pokemon doing something cool for their reveal. I mean, Greninja shot out a water shuriken and then just sort of stood up off the branch, and Charizard just roared. So I don't know, neither of them really did anything too crazy, but their actual trailers were pretty cool. So that's why I think they're hanging out in B tier. They're not a C or a D because, they still did some neat stuff. All right, so Palutena, I think, will go into the A tier. I really liked the departure from the 3D CGI. I do like the 3D CGI, but I think when a trailer actually does a different style of animation, that it kind of adds to it, I think, especially when it matches the character that it's revealing. And so that's why I think Palutena's is really cool. Not only that, but we saw both Link and Pit in that anime style, and I think that's really cool. And then, of course, we saw that Palutena was the big reveal, but I like when they include other characters in that different art style. For Little Mac, Samus was in the same style when she was pointing out how short he is, And in the Palutena trailer, Link is fighting Pit in that weird anime style. I don't know why I said weird. It's not really that weird. But yeah, I don't know. That trailer is really cool. And side note, this trailer, I guess, could be the unofficial official reveal for Dark Pit, because at this point, we didn't actually know that Dark Pit was going to be in the game. It wasn't until the 3DS version in Japan released that people started unlocking the characters, and we found out that Dark Pit was his own character. So he has a cameo in this trailer, but I don't remember exactly if people thought that that was indication that he was a character, especially because he didn't get a splash screen, or if they just simply thought that's a neat little nod to Kid Icarus Uprising. Sakurai was the director on that game, so it's kind of just a fun little nod to that game. But yeah, we could see in retrospect that I guess that was meant to be a hint that he was going to be in the game. Okay, so Pac-Man. I think, unfortunately, this is going to be my first C tier trailer, and it actually has very little to do with the trailer itself, but more or less the means of the reveal, because Pac-Man was revealed during the E3 2014, event, but not during Nintendo's, Nintendo Direct, the digital event, whatever they called it back in the day. Not during that event that was actually specifically for the fans, and it was meant to be like their big event for the viewer. It was actually during a Super Smash Bros. Roundtable, which was its own separate event, and if I recall, I don't even know if it was streamed. I think maybe it was recorded and then the VOD was uploaded, but I don't remember. I don't think it was streamed. Like, I have a distinct memory of having to see cell phone footage of Pac-Man's reveal trailer simply because I don't think it was a general public event. And that is why I think I have him in C tier, because he wasn't a part of a normal showcase. He was this weird press-only event that then got uploaded later. I was very, very confused about his reveal and why they chose to do it that way. And now for the Mii Fighters. I truly think this is another S tier, because this one, unlike Pac-Man, was revealed during the digital event, so it doesn't have any negative points there. But this trailer, of course, is the one that showed Reggie and Satoru Iwata both fighting in real life. Obviously, it was CGI and animated and everything, but actually showing them fighting in real life, having Iwata do that crazy headbutt, everything, and then having that transition into not only the reveal for Mii Fighters to be a part of Super Smash Bros., but then sort of pivoting that into the reveal of Amiibos and how those were going to not only exist because we hadn't seen them before, but how they were going to interact with Super Smash Bros. So I think that's a genius trailer, because aside from the fact that they had Reggie and Iwata fighting, they also have Lincoln gets sworn in, Ice-T wants to pour or something like that, I can't remember, and Elijah would like to battle. Like, they had some really, really clever Mii Fighter reveals for the actual, people, quote-unquote, that you can make for the game. So I think that's really cool, and S tier, I think, is more than generous for it. All right, we're going to take the next ones a little quick because I realized how long this is taking me. So Lucina and Robin were both pretty good trailers. I'm going to put Lucina in B tier because I think a lot of people, including myself a little bit, were disappointed that she was simply a Marth clone. But I really liked how she worked in the trailer and how she was sort of defending her father who was on the ground dying. And then Robin falling from the sky, or floating down, I guess. I think that is the bigger reveal for the trailer, so I think that A tier is probably where it should go, because it's just, I don't know, the trailer itself was really cool, showing off Robin's magic on top of just being able to use a general sword, so I think that's really cool. Also, we can't forget that this trailer showed off Captain Falcon for the first time, because we weren't entirely sure that he was going to be in the game again, so we gotta give it some points there. Shulk's, I think, was also probably A tier because he had a really neat one where, he saw the vision of Marth and Link attacking him, and then he was able to correct it. And I think that's a really cool, nod to the game that he's from. And so I don't really have much to say about Shulk, but I think that aspect of the trailer was pretty cool before they got, of course, into the gameplay. Now, Bowser Jr. and Duck Hunt. Hot takes, these were kind of pointless. And the reason in case none of you were around for that. The reason for that is because Bowser Jr. and Duck Hunt were both revealed, and they had their reveal trailers after the game came out. So it was like, we have some reveal trailers for the Wii U version, but the roster is the same, and you already know these characters exist. But for some reason, we are still going to show you this, but we just very poorly timed it. And so I think that these are going to go into the D tier. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know why they waited for the Wii U version of the game to reveal these two characters, even though the whole internet knew the roster by then. It just didn't make any sense to me. Now, if they had done this at the end of the 3DS, maybe I would have felt differently, because I do really like the Duck Hunt trailer. I just think that when it was released, very, very pointless. All right, so I'm going to lump in the Mewtwo reveal and the Mewtwo actual trailer, you know, when they said Mewtwo's coming versus, okay, here's the trailer. I'm going to put this in A tier as well, because you know what? Actually, I changed my mind, S tier, and I'll tell you why. This was the first DLC character in Smash Bros. History. Everyone was predicting it, everyone was theorizing it. The Wii wasn't really capable of doing DLC in the same way that modern consoles are, but the Wii U, we had already seen examples of DLC on that console already, and so people were theorizing, okay, this game, this Smash game, we are going to get DLC fighters. And then, of course, they reveal that Mewtwo is in the game. Now, that is just amazing. I mean, that literally is what put Etika on the map, for example, with his reaction. So it truly was just an amazing reveal. Now, the actual trailer, not super impressive as far as, you know, there wasn't any CGI elements. It literally, you know, faded into Mewtwo being there. We got the big splash Mewtwo Strikes Back screen, and then just gameplay. But I think that still, despite that, being the very first DLC character really just puts him really high ranking. And so I think if you were to include, you know, that wireframe appearing in that Wii U extravaganza, 50 fact, whatever they called it, then it blew people's minds. So S tier for sure. Next is the Lucas reveal, which I think is really good. I'm going to put it in B tier because I wasn't amazingly impressed with it. And I think a lot of the impressiveness of it was simply that Lucas was returning, and that I don't think we knew that more DLC was coming before this point, because the way they implied it in the Mewtwo trailer was Mewtwo is going to be a bonus fighter, but I don't know that we really had any hard confirmation that DLC was actually coming. So I think Lucas definitely is cool, and so B tier I think is appropriate, but the actual reveal wasn't super, super amazing. And unfortunately, Roy and Ryu, despite how cool both of those characters are and how cool, like honestly, Ryu's trailer is super cool, they were both leaked. And so we knew they were coming, and so they've got no surprise factor with them, and that definitely, in my opinion, impacts how impressive their reveal was. So I'm going to put Roy in C tier just because we knew he was coming. Ryu's is still really cool, so I think I'm going to put him in B tier. But it's a shame because Lucas, Roy, and Ryu all came out at the same time, but we knew well in advance that Roy and Ryu were coming because of data mining. All right, we are coming down to the wire with the Smash 4 characters. Cloud, I think, goes in S tier. He was another character that people were just so happy with. The actual trailer, I think, was really cool. The slow Super Smash Brothers, and then we see a little bit of gameplay, and then X, and we see a little bit of gameplay, and then Final Fantasy. That just blew people's minds, and I'm sure diehard fans knew, based on the music and based on what was being shown, because he was on the Midgar stage, that was definitely going to be Cloud, but I think it was still just so surreal for those people. And then even as someone who hasn't played Final Fantasy VII, I was just blown away that he was included in the game. I remember freaking out in the grocery store because I was watching the stream on my phone and I was just like, no way, they added Cloud to the game. That is insane. So Cloud definitely, I think, is an S tier, both for how cool his trailer was and just the staying power of the fact that he is now in the game. Corrin, the trailer was cool, but the character and the fact that it was clear that Corrin was added as just a marketing tool, D. It's got to be D tier. Everything about Corrin's release and reveal, I just wasn't super crazy about. Not that I hated it or anything, I just wasn't really amazingly thrilled by it like any of the other characters. So that's why Corrin's gonna go in D tier. Bayonetta, I think, will probably go in C tier. I was super skeptical that Bayonetta was even, super high on the Smash, the what do they call it? The fighter ballot. Fighter ballot. That's what it was called. I was super skeptical that Bayonetta was even high ranking on that, and now we know they only brought that up, to justify her being added, and we now know that the fighter ballot really was meant to be an indicator for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's roster. So, I guess it makes sense. Still not crazy about her trailer. It's still not crazy about the way they were a little shady with the fighter ballot, but C tier, I think, is probably about as appropriate as it can get. I don't know. I just wasn't super crazy about her reveal. But of course, now let's get into the ultimate characters. First off, revealing Inkling, and of course, revealing Super Smash Bros. As a whole. That's got to be S tier for sure. I don't know that a new Smash game reveal really can just be topped by that. It was so amazing because they really threw us off. It just seemed like we were going to get something new with Splatoon. And then, of course, we saw that Smash logo. So it has to be S tier. Anything else would just not be right. And of course, I think that the Everyone is Here reveal has to be S tier as well. And I think it's something that Smash fans really wanted for all 5 games that we've had up to this point before Ultimate. They just wanted every character back. And I mean, that's the reason they did it. Sakurai said, people always wanted the cut characters back, so how about we just don't have any cut characters? And he brought them all back. And so that is an amazing, amazing reveal. And it almost put a little bit of doubt in a lot of people's minds. I mean, they were doing that big montage of all the different characters. They had their numbers next to them. And then all of a sudden, you just freaking out. You see Snake, and then they use Snake to reveal that Everyone is Here. It was just, I just remember being mind blown by it. So absolutely up there in the S tier. Daisy's reveal is unfortunately pretty boring to me. She didn't even get her own splash screen. She just got like that weird black and white screen that they were using in the reveal direct. She was used to reveal the Echo Fighters, but it's just strange to me that she didn't get one of these. I mean, all the other Echo Fighters did, so it seems very strange. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was a very nothing reveal. Ridley's, however, now personally, I know some of you are going to get mad that I didn't put this in S tier, but personally, Ridley was never one of my super wanted characters. It's super cool that he's in the game, and I was really blown away by the fact that they actually added him, considering they said he was too big, and it just seemed like a shoo-in he wouldn't be in. But the reveal itself, pretty cool. It doesn't really have that much in it to bump me up into S tier, but very cool reveal, and I'm pretty happy he's in the game. Simon, I think, will also be A tier. Oh, that freaked out a little bit. Okay, Simon will be A tier. This was another character that I think people flipped out about. I'm very happy he's in the game, and I was surprised he wasn't in before because, he's just a classic gaming icon. So Simon being in the game and Simon's reveal was really, really cool. I really loved the way that Luigi was sort of exploring a haunted mansion that ended up being in the Castlevania world, and then Simon's like, don't worry, bro, I'll just beat all the monsters for you. Oh, you already died? My bad. So Simon's really cool. Unfortunately, I have not played any Symphony of the Night, anything like that, so I didn't even know who Richter was. So I'm going to put him in B tier. It's still a very cool reveal, especially, the way he's an Echo Fighter, but it was meant to be like, hey, I'm going to help too. But, personally, I've just never played any game with Richter in it, so I just, I wasn't super crazy about it. Not to say that I, hated it, I didn't really know who he was. Chrom and Dark Samus, I'm also going to put, I think, in C tier next to Daisy, because while they did get those splash screens, they were kind of just really short trailers, if you could even call them that. They had just a little bit of gameplay, but it was really just like, we have new Echo Fighters, check them out. A minute and a half goes by. Okay, those are the cool fighters. But really the big players of that direct were the Simon, Richter, and then what we're about to talk about, the King K. Rool reveal. So cool that they're in the game, but I just wasn't, crazy, jumping over my chair about how cool those reveals were. But King K. Rool, This is going to be biased, but I got to put him in S tier. He was someone that I wanted to be in the game. He was first party, so he was able to be added, no questions asked. He and Banjo were the only ones that I super wanted, so I was very happy to see him in the game. And his reveal trailer was awesome. The whole fake out with King DDD pretending to be King K. Rool, and then King K. Rool flying down and just beating the crap out of him. I thought that was just a genius trailer, so definitely S tier. Isabelle, pretty boring reveal, honestly. I honestly am close. You know what? I'll put her in B tier because it was a decent fake out for Animal Crossing news, and I liked how they dual revealed Isabelle in Smash and then Animal Crossing for the Switch, you know, at the same time. But the whole point of the trailer was to fake out everybody. Is this going to be Smash? Is this going to be Animal Crossing? Turns out it was both, but as far as the actual trailer, pretty boring. It was just Isabelle kind of walking around the mayor's office, getting a letter, and then we just saw gameplay. So as far as the trailer goes, it was kind of boring, but it does get a couple of points up because it was meant to, you know, be a big trick. And now let's talk about Ken and Incineroar. Now my feelings on these are very skewed because of the way that the Grinch leak happened. I'm gonna put Ken in A tier for two reasons. One, I really wanted Ken to be in the game. Ever since they introduced Echo Fighters and that everyone was going to be in the game, I thought that Ken being in the game just made sense. I mean, he is a clone of Ryu, and so that was my rationale. I thought it would be really cool for him to be in the game. And of course, he ended up being in the game. But the Grinch leak also basically said, hey, Ken's going to be in. And so the fact that Ken was the first thing we saw really threw me for a loop, because I was like, I remember sitting there thinking, what is real? What's real? Is Vergabin telling the truth, or is the Grinch leak real? And then, of course, Incineroar popped up. Now, I'm trying to be objective here. I was a little disappointed with Incineroar because it meant the Grinch leak was fake. I'm going to put Incineroar's reveal in B tier. I like how it meshed with Ken's, but just the slight disappointment that I had kind of impacts my ranking of this. And I know that might not be amazing to do for a tier list, but I was disappointed. I wanted to see Banjo in the game. It was only because of Banjo, too. I didn't care about Shadow or Gino or Chorus Kids or Isaac or anybody else who was in that list. You know, I know other people wanted it and I thought it would be cool, but I just wanted Banjo so bad. And so to see Incineroar there, it hurt me physically. Piranha Plant, I think, will go in A tier as well. That was a crazy reveal because not a single soul predicted, okay, maybe one or two, but no one was thinking that Piranha Plant would be in Smash, much less be our first DLC character of all things. So I thought that was crazy. I think the surprise factor really impacts my ranking for this. I literally just started thinking about D1 saying Piranha Plant because of the reveal.
Piranha Plant?
It was so funny. I was so surprised by it. It was just hilarious. And now we get to the Fighter Pass. Now I have Joker here twice because the first one is the reveal at the Game Awards and the second one is the actual gameplay reveal because we hadn't seen gameplay up until this reveal. So I'm going to put this one in S tier, and I think that is the correct place to put it. The venue at which they revealed that Joker was going to be in Smash, as well as the fact that no one was expecting this character or this place to be where they revealed the character. It blew everyone away. I think S tier is perfect. As far as the actual gameplay reveal, I'm going to put it in B tier only because we were just left in the dark for 4 months, and then all of a sudden they just dropped this video. I have not been shy about how much I don't like the way Nintendo sometimes handles their DLC. I'm liking that with Byleth. It's not out yet, but we have a release date to actually go off of. Whereas with Hero, with Banjo, with Terry, they kind of were just like, actually not Terry, but Hero and Banjo, they just kind of shadow dropped it, and Joker as well. And I was not a super fan of that. So yeah, that's why I'm going to put that in B tier. Now, I'm going to ignore that for the other ones because this one was specifically just because this reveal was the gameplay reveal as well as telling us when the character was coming out. So the Hero reveal, I think, was amazing, and I'm going to put it in A tier. because I don't have any attachment to Dragon Quest really, but I think that the way they revealed it was amazing. A huge fight scene, and then all of a sudden the hero appears, and everyone is like, oh, the Luminary from Dragon Quest XI? And then the second half starts, and all of a sudden we see Erdrick and Solo and 8, and it just blows everyone's mind that we have 4 heroes in the game. So I think that puts it in A tier, as well as the fact that we were really relying on Vergabin's leaks and how he said it was going to be Erdrick, but he was never specific about the hero being 4 different characters. Of course, Erdrick is one of those characters, but at first we were like, oh no, he was wrong. And then we see, oh, I guess he was right, because he had some information, just not all the information, which, you know, is a little convenient, I will admit, but we still saw him right. And that, of course, gave me hope for the next trailer. Now, of course, you know I gotta put Banjo's in S tier. It was my only character I wanted for DLC. It was the only third-party rep that I wanted to be in the game. I'm so happy he was in. I really loved the tieback to the King K. Rool trailer, and how now King K. Rool is big chillin', hanging out with Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, and then Duck Hunt appears to trick us as Banjo and Kazooie, and then Banjo and Kazooie drop down, smack him in the head, and there they are. They're just glorious. They're glorious, and it's not the nuts and bolts design. So yeah, of course, you guys knew immediately that Banjo was going to be an S tier. Terry, I'm gonna put an A tier. I don't really have any attachment to his character, but I really loved the very classic 32-bit Neo Geo style trailer that they decided to use to reveal him. I'm not a fan of how they revealed him and then the gameplay wasn't there, and then they had to wait until the Sakurai showcase to show off the actual full trailer. I thought that was a little weird, and I don't know what it was. I guess maybe Terry just wasn't finished, but it seems strange because the actual showcase was recorded before the trailer dropped, so he was obviously in a stable state. So I don't know what the deal was. There had to have been something behind the scenes going on there, because it just didn't make sense for there to be no gameplay at all. I mean, we saw him use Power Wave and then Crack Shoot, but that was it until we saw the full trailer, and we actually saw that full trailer after we had seen the whole character, so it kind of takes away how cool the trailer would have been. But still a very cool cinematic, I will say, and I think A tier is appropriate. And lastly, we have Byleth. Now, again, I have no attachment to Byleth or Three Houses. I really liked the anime style. I'm gonna put it in A tier. I was thinking about B tier, but I think A tier is appropriate. I like how they introduced not only the female variant, you know, talking to Sothis. In retrospect, I liked the too many sword fighters for you move or line, because I missed it in my reaction, but then I obviously was told about it and I saw it again. And then I like the reveal of using multiple weapons. I think that the actual trailer, regardless of what you think about the character, I think the actual trailer is very cool. So I'm going to put it in A tier. And that is my tier list. Every character's reveal, I hope I didn't miss anybody. I will be very embarrassed if I did, although there's so many of them that it is a very high chance that I may have missed somebody. But yeah, overall, you can see that most of them, I mean, there are very few bad ones, and a lot of them aren't bad because they are bad, but to me, they are bad because of real-world circumstances, whether it's because they're a marketing stunt, or they were already going to be in the game, they just kind of needed a reason to justify it, or hey, we're not going to show you this new character even though it's important for you to know about, because we're just going to keep it behind closed doors. So things like that really are what impact Smash trailers to me. I feel like all of C and D tier almost, with the exception of maybe the Echo Fighters, if real world circumstances hadn't gone in the way, I think all of those probably would be in B or A tier, because Roy's reveal was cool, Duck Hunt's was cool, Bowser Jr.'s was cool. It's just that, you know, some of them we knew about already and some of them were redundant. So that's really what impacts those trailers for me, because otherwise Smash does an amazing job with their trailers and I love almost all of them. So that explains why so few of them are ranked so poorly. But what do you guys think of my list? Do you guys think that I hit the nail on the head? Do you disagree? Maybe you liked Bayonetta's reveal and it shouldn't be in C tier or something. Let me know down in those comments below. I'd love to hear everything you guys have to say about these character reveals, because this is strangely one of the things that aren't talked about very much. You know, you talk about the character, you talk about the moveset, but a lot of times once the character's out, we kind of just forget about the reveal. So it's really cool, and that's why I wanted to do this video. It's a really cool idea to, you know, look back and talk about all of the reveals. But that is going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button, and if you're new, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.